This is the first Tellogram for 2017, and today I want to share with you a thought of something that happened to me personally in the month of December of 2016. Since we got done with break and we got done with the fall semester at the seminary, my wife and I decided to potty train our 13-year-old brain injured child. Now that sounds easier to say than it is to actually do. And there have been many times where I have been just utterly frustrated and utterly discouraged as to the whole process and how this thing is just not working out the way I want it to work out. What ended up happening one day is I was so frustrated, I told my wife, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be in the bathroom with him all entire day and wait for him to use the potty. I want to do something else. I don't want to be in there anymore. And I remember I was expressing my frustration to my wife, and I was also expressing my frustration to God. And I guess I should preface this by saying, whenever you express frustrations toward God and you ask Him to respond to you, just get ready, because He's going to respond to you. So what ended up happening was I was sitting there waiting for a friend of mine at 5 in the morning to go work out at a gym in near Berrien Springs. And as we were preparing, I was sitting there just praying, and I was sitting there just meditating. I was arguing with God. I was frustrated with, not with God, but with the whole potty training situation. And I just felt dejected. I don't know if you've ever felt dejected before. I just felt horrible. I felt horrible that I couldn't control my emotions. I felt horrible that I couldn't control the situation. I felt horrible that I felt this way. And I remember thinking in my mind as I was sitting there, God, why don't you just share with me something that would help me get through this moment of potty training my son, this moment of difficulty in my life. And I remember as I looked to the right-hand side of my vehicle, right to the right, there was a waving flag or a waving notice. I can't think of the word right now, but something waving in the wind that had to do with the advertisement for an apartment complex right across the street from a friend's house. As it was waving in the wind, I remember looking at that right exact moment, and I saw two letters, me. As I saw the word me flapping in the wind, it hit me like a ton of bricks. The reason I was frustrated, the reason everything was frustrating me, the reason why everything was not working out for me, and the reason I felt horrible about the way I was feeling is because everything had to do with me. I was the main focus. I was the main person having the problem. I was the main person having the issues. It wasn't my son. It wasn't my wife. It wasn't even the circumstance. It was the way I was looking at the situation. It was my personal attitude. I was a problem. As that sign waved in the wind again, I saw another word joined with the word me. And right above it was the word come. As I looked at this word come, I was automatically reminded of the words of Jesus Christ that are found in the book of Matthew chapter 11 verse 28, where He invites His disciples of the first century, and He invites us in the 21st century to come unto Him. In the original Greek, that word come is in the imperative, is in the present active imperative, which essentially means right now, right wherever you're at, just come to me. As that sign flapped in the wind again, I saw two other letters, but in Spanish, El, E-L. As I looked at that, I began to put this puzzle piece together in my mind. You see, my whole problem of frustration had to do with me. I was so focused on me. In order to solve that situation in my life, in order to solve my frustration, I had to come to the Master Jesus Christ. And as I come to the Master Jesus Christ, according to His word in the imperative, using that active present imperative that is found in the original Greek, I began to realize that I can now affect and bless Él, which is in Spanish another person, you, a second person noun. So as I sat there and it waved again in the wind, the last two letters I saw was we, W W-E. And then it hit me. The only way for me to get out of my funk, and the only way for me to get out of my sorry condition, is to come to Jesus. As I come to Jesus and He fills me with the only thing I do not have, I am able then to affect others. I'm able to affect you. I'm able to affect my son. I'm able to affect my wife. I'm able to affect anyone who comes in contact with me. And that's the meaning of the we. Because as I affect you, as I affect my wife, as I affect everyone, I essentially am able to impact people's lives. And then it flapped again in the wind, and the full word presented itself for my vision, and that was welcome. So it was almost as if God was saying, you wanted me to talk to you, you wanted me to give you a message about your frustration. Well, there's the message. You're welcome. So I don't know where you're at in 2017. I don't know what you're feeling in 2017. 2016 could have ended horrible for you. 2017 could have started horrible for you. You may be feeling in an absolute discouraged situation. Perhaps you're focusing too much on yourself, and you need to come to Jesus so that He can help you, fill you, so that you can start impacting other people's lives. There is no other greater purpose in life than to pour yourself into somebody else and to impact their lives. So until the next time, this is Pastor Tello reminding you that thoughts do count.